Alright, let's get into it. Religion. For, basically all of human history, this was the biggest deal. Think about it. Before Netflix, before TikTok, before even, the printing press made books a thing for everyone. What did people have? They had religion. It was the original global franchise, way before McDonald's. It wasn't just a Sunday morning thing or a once-a-year holiday special. It was woven into the very fabric of daily life, from the moment you woke up to the moment you went to sleep. It was your news source, your social network, and your moral compass, all rolled into one. Seriously, it had market share your favorite tech company could only dream of. Massive. Now, what did religion actually back then? A lot, actually. It gave people answers to the big, scary questions. You know the ones. Why are we here? What happens when we die? Why does pineapple on pizza exist? Okay, maybe not that last one, but you get the picture. It provided a framework for understanding the world. It also created communities. People gathered together, shared beliefs, supported each other. Think of it as the original co-working space for souls. It laid down the law, literally. Moral codes, societal rules, even legal systems often had their roots deep in religious texts and traditions. It was the ultimate authority for centuries. And it wasn't just about rules and philosophy. Religion was the engine of culture. Think about the art, the Sistine Chapel, bam, religious, the pyramids, connected to deep beliefs about the afterlife, epic poems, incredible music, stunning architecture. So much of what we now call classic or world heritage was inspired by, funded by, or dedicated to religious ideas. It shaped how people saw themselves, their leaders, and their place in the universe. It was the main character in history's long-running series. You couldn't escape its influence, even if you tried. It was in the air people breathed, the stories they told their kids. So, fast forward to 2025. We've got the internet in our pockets. We've got AI writing essays. Meta, right? We can get answers from Google in 0.3 seconds. The world is, shall we say, a different. So the big question is, does this ancient institution, this OG influencer, still hold the same sway? Especially for young people, Gen Z, who grew up with a different kind of scroll, the infinite scroll. Are they still downloading the Faith app? Or have they moved on to other operating systems for meaning and community? Let's dig in. So Gen Z, the digital natives, the ones who can make a TikTok dance go viral before breakfast. How are they approaching this whole religion thing? Well, it's complicated. Like a Facebook relationship status from 2010, they're not necessarily throwing the entire concept out the window, but they're definitely not just accepting the default settings from previous generations. They're asking tough questions. They're challenging norms. They're basically Marie Kondoing faith. If it doesn't spark joy, or at least make sense to them personally, they're more likely to say, "Thank you, next." This isn't your grandma's Sunday service anymore, folks. One of the biggest trends we see is the rise of the unaffiliated. Now, this term can be a bit tricky. It doesn't automatically mean atheist or agnostic, though it can include them. For many young people, unaffiliated means they don't identify with a specific religious institution or denomination. They might still believe in a higher power, they might still consider themselves spiritual, but they're not signing up for membership at club-organized religion. They're keeping their options open. This generation values authenticity and personal choice, and that extends big time to their spiritual lives. They want something that feels real and relevant to, not just something they inherited. Think about it. Gen Z grew up with unprecedented access to information. The internet is their playground, their library, their debate club. They can research any religion, any philosophy, any spiritual practice from their phone. This means they're exposed to a massive variety of beliefs and perspectives. So, when they encounter a religious tradition that feels too rigid, too exclusive, or out of touch with their values, like LGBTQ plus inclusion or social justice issues, they're not afraid to question it or even walk away. It's less about blind faith and more about informed choice. They want their spiritual beliefs to align with their ethical compass. And this is where things get really interesting. They're not just rejecting, many are actively. They might pull traditions from one faith, philosophies from another, and blend them with mindfulness practices they learned from a wellness app. It's like creating a custom spiritual playlist. This approach can be super personal and empowering, allowing them to craft a belief system that truly resonates. But it also means the traditional structures of religion are facing a major disruption. The gatekeepers of faith are finding the gates are now more like open doors, with people wandering in, out, and around. And so, this remix culture, this personal quest for meaning, it leads to some fascinating outcomes. You hear the phrase spiritual, but not religious a lot with Gen Z, and it's more than just a cool-sounding label. It often means they're interested in the big questions, in connecting with something larger than themselves, but they're wary of the dogma, the institutions, the strict rules that can come with organized religion. They might meditate, practice yoga, feel a deep connection to nature, or find spiritual fulfillment in art or activism. It's about the experience, the feeling, the personal journey, rather than adherence to a specific creed handed down from on high. Then you have the nons, N-O-N-E-S. These are the folks who, when asked about their religious affiliation, check the box that says none. This group is growing, especially among young people. And again, none is a broad category. It includes atheists, who don't believe in God or gods. It includes agnostics, who feel the existence or non-existence of God is unknowable. And it includes people who simply don't find religion relevant to their lives. They might find their moral framework in secular humanism, their sense of awe in science, and their community in friends, family, or shared interest groups. It's not necessarily a void, but a space filled by other things. We're also seeing the rise of new forms of community and belief, often fostered online. Think about dedicated subreddits, Discord servers, or even TikTok communities built around niche spiritual interests or shared philosophies. Some young people are exploring eco-spirituality, finding a sacred connection with the planet and advocating for its protection. Others are drawn to revived forms of ancient paganism or indigenous spiritual practices, seeking roots and a connection to something they feel is more authentic or earth-centered. It's a testament to the human need for meaning and connection, finding new expressions in a rapidly changing world. It's DIY spirituality for the digital age. It's important to understand that for many young people leaving traditional religion or choosing none, it's not always a casual decision or an act of teenage rebellion. Often it's the result of deep thought, critical inquiry, and sometimes negative experiences. They might have found traditional religious teachings to be at odds with scientific understanding, or they might have encountered hypocrisy or harm within religious institutions. For others, it's simply that religion doesn't provide the answers or the comfort they're seeking. They're looking for intellectual honesty and emotional resonance, and if they don't find it in one place, they'll keep searching. So why this shift? Why are some young people looking at religion and saying, "Nah, I'm good"? Well, there are a bunch of reasons. The internet, as we've said, provides instant access to a million different viewpoints and scientific explanations for things that were once purely in the realm of faith. When you can Google the Big Bang, it might make ancient creation stories feel more like, well, stories. Plus, let's be real, some religious institutions haven't done themselves any favors. Scandals, resistance to social progress, or a perceived disconnect from the real-world problems young people care about, climate change, inequality, mental health, can make religion seem outdated or even part of the problem. Some argue that in our modern, secular, science-driven society, religion is simply no longer necessary. We have ethics derived from philosophy, community from social clubs and online groups, and a sense of awe from understanding the cosmos through astrophysics. Why, they ask, do we need ancient rules or supernatural explanations in 2025? They might see religion as a source of conflict, division, or a barrier to critical thinking. For these folks, humanity has outgrown religion, like a kid outgrowing their favorite childhood toy. It served its purpose, but now it's time to move on to more adult ways of understanding the world and living together. But hold up, before we write religion's obituary, let's be clear. For a whole lot of young people, faith is still incredibly important, super relevant. It provides a strong sense of community, a feeling of belonging that can be hard to find elsewhere. Think about vibrant youth groups, campus ministries, or faith-based volunteer organizations. These places offer connection, support, and shared values. For many, religion offers profound comfort in difficult times, answers to existential questions that science can't touch, and a moral compass that helps them navigate the complexities of life. It gives them a sense of purpose and meaning. And let's not forget identity and heritage. For many Gen Zers, especially from minority cultural or ethnic backgrounds, religion is deeply intertwined with their family history, their cultural traditions, and their sense of who they are. It can be a powerful link to their ancestors and a source of strength and resilience in a world that can often feel chaotic and alienating. So, religion isn't just disappearing. It's changing. It's being questioned, reinterpreted, and personalized. The landscape is definitely shifting, but the human search for meaning, connection, and something bigger than ourselves, that's not going anywhere. So the real question isn't just whether religion is relevant for them, but what role, if any, does it play in life today?